guys, today I'm at my church and I need to do some maintenance on this door. My primary job is going to be putting a closer on it because right now this door opens and doesn't close on its own at all. But while we're at it, we're just going to take care of some general maintenance on it. It doesn't have any weather stripping, so we're going to work on that. And it's got a little bit of surface rust. Honestly, it's got a couple rust holes, paint, and go from there. So to get this thing started, I want to get rid of the surface rust. So I've got a palm sander. An orbital sander would probably be better. You can sand by hand as well, but I'm using my palm sander. But first, I'm going to use this drill and this wire cut brush. This is a coarse thread on it, and I'm just going to really get into there and just kind of get all the surface crud knocked off of this, and you know, get rid of some of the rust starting out with a little bit of power. So I should be wearing a mask. I intended to bring one today and I forgot. So, you know, just because you see me do something doesn't mean that I'm endorsing it or suggesting you do that. So wear a mask, protect yourself, don't do like I do.
I started here with the extra coarse bristles to knock away loose paint, really get in there and rough up the surface and chip away as much rust as possible. Then I moved on to this hard wire brush, and then my palm sander. Started with 100 grit sandpaper, finally ending with 250 grit sandpaper. I found that the palm sander made a lot more of a difference in smoothing out the surface than anything else. There were times also where I just used the paper by hand.
I got as much of the rust off as I don't want to say as I could. I could have spent hours and hours. I probably spent an hour on this. This thing's pretty smooth. This spot, let's see if the lighting gets better. This spot's okay. It's not great. Down here, this side got pretty good. That side's probably the worst spot still. I probably did the worst on getting the rust out of there. The bottom of the door is fair, not wonderful. So I got rid of a lot of this and I washed it down with some soapy water, warm soapy water. Next we're going to use this rust-oleum rust reformer. This is supposed to convert rust and should turn it black and be ready to be paintable. I was looking for some other products. I couldn't find them in stock where I was looking. So we're gonna give this a try. We're gonna put this on. It says we paint it on with a brush. So we're gonna try that out in a minute. You'll see in a couple minutes. And I'm just waiting for this door to dry so we don't put it on top of wet, soapy water or whatever. So there we are.
I decided to attack rust on this door to try to prevent it from coming back anytime soon. So I used this rust-oleum product that I showed you, and it ended up being kind of pasty and chalky. Then I used a rust preventative primer on the door.
Okay guys, so I want to show you this. It's really thin and liquidy in the bottle, and you saw me painting it on with a brush, and it's got a tacky texture now. It almost starts to come on like glue. So now we just gotta let it dry. I believe it said about 15 minutes. It said it would turn black. What things are looking like to me are looking more like it's drying clear. So I don't know if I need to do more of it or not, but that's going on right now. I just need to let it set and dry. Okay guys, so I'm gonna put this door closer on now, and we have our instructions here. And it gave us a diagram. So I started with the plate that will go on the door, the actual mechanism with everything inside it, and I had to measure out from the hinge, as you see that diagram. Let's see, 3 1/4 inches over is my first hole, and I'm coming down 3/4 of an inch. Put my first hole. I have not drilled it yet. I just used a pencil to mark it, and marked down on the opposite side, and I actually used the bracket. And then for up here, it was, what was it, 2 3/4 of an inch out, and it was 3 1/2 inch And so anyways, and I use the bracket again. So anyways, whatever. So I marked this, got my template. Now I just need to drill some holes, and that's where this is going to mount in at.
It's kind of ironic because the primary reason for doing the maintenance on this door was to put a new closer on it, and that was probably the easiest thing that I did. I used the instructions and put it in exactly where it said, but you'll see that it's a little high and it affects the weather stripping and rubs on the frame a small amount. If I had it to do over again, I would mount this just a little bit lower than it actually is, and as the instructions said to put it.
Okay guys, so we got her up. She's rubbing just a little bit here. That actually can adjust down, and it's not preventing anything. We're probably going to see it rub. Maybe over time a little bit of paint, but it's not worth drilling new holes and redoing because this does slightly move. It adjusts, it has some flex in it a little bit. Anyways, so this was just set up as it is. Door's open. This door catches a little bit, which I'm going to change the hardware. But what was that? Let's count it. Let's count it out. Let's go here. 1001, 1002, 1003. So, well, it was about 2.5. And like I said, it catches on a few things over here. That's unrelated. I don't think it's going to pull itself shut anyways. So I'm going to leave that exactly like it is. To adjust it, you put a screw in and you turn these counterclockwise, clockwise. Counterclockwise is for faster, clockwise is for slower. So yeah, I'm not going to worry about that because I think this is a good pace. I don't think I'm going to get it hard enough that it pulls this door. You actually kind of got to turn the knob. I don't think you can see that. I don't think I was looking at it, but you got to either slam or pull the knob to get this. I'm going to change the hardware out too. We'll see if that makes a difference. So yeah, we have a door closer. Cool beans. Okay guys, I've never used this product, but we're going to try and fill in those rust hole spots at the bottom with this metal reinforced filler. Kind of going to be like Bondo, I take it. It says to use a non-porous surface to mix it together on. It specifically says don't use cardboard. Gonna go ahead and try this paint tray. And so I read the instructions, and you fold it over. It sounds like Bondo. It says what is the mixture ratio here? Let me tell you. It just cracked me up. All right, 3-inch diameter circle, 1/2 inch thick filler, and 35 drops of hardener. Does anybody really measure out 35 drops of hardener? Sorry, but I don't intend to. Probably gonna be doing it wrong, but I'm just gonna wing this. We're gonna try and mix it up and see what we get.
So the first thing I have to acknowledge is I never realized until I was done with this product and putting it away that it was an actual Bondo product. I kept saying it was like Bondo. That's probably because it was Bondo. I used a plastic putty knife to apply this, and it worked fairly well, but I think a metal one would have been a lot better. It started out rather smooth, but right here what you see is I forgot to take the sliding locks off of the door, and that delayed me by about 10 minutes, and it made a huge difference because this product got really tough, pasty, and real hard to work with.
Okay, there's a couple reasons I had to stop and pause. One is there's supposed to be a round faceplate. I want to take this one off. That would fit like this door, like how we have it. It's missing. I don't have it. It's not in my set. I don't know if it's supposed to be in every set or this one didn't come with it. So we're going to keep this plate as it was. We're going to go with it that way. So put this back on. My other issue was I was trying to figure out how to adjust this because it was too shallow. And I was looking at this like it was maybe an Allen wrench keyhole or something. It's actually a lot simpler than that. It's real simple. This groove, it actually just rotates. So I've got it as long as it goes now because I need it this long. And it says top and bottom. So the deadbolt itself goes in pretty simply.
I want to apologize for this video having no continuity to it and not making sense. Something happened with my micro SD card. I can see footage on my GoPro, but when I try to transition it, I've tried multiple times and it doesn't come over. So I've lost a ton of footage here. But what you see is that we've painted the door, and I put a brand new door lock on that works great. And I'm trying to adjust the deadbolt, but it doesn't want to close if you put the outside bracket on.
So guys, I've got my weather stripping up. I used some T-Rex super glue double-sided tape, and I ran out down here, so at this very spot it's not holding up. I actually tried using some super glue or some Gorilla Glue, but either way it's holding up pretty well. But nonetheless, I want this to stay in case somebody hits this or whatever. And you know, drilling through this metal and then there's concrete behind it, it's a pain in the butt. I've been working on it this last 2 days, so I decided I'm gonna run out, go grab some these hex washers, self-drilling sheet metal screws. And this is a 1/2 inch number 8 screw head. It's the smallest one in this pack. This is just what they had at Harbor Freight. There's all kinds of sizes. Put one in already just to see and make sure it worked. It goes right in. It's self-drilling, so I didn't have to drill the hole or anything. That was one-handed. You guys saw that go. Anyways, I'm sure you don't want to sit here and watch that every single time. So that's how I'm doing this. I'm gonna get this up and done, and then I'll get right back with you. All right, guys. Kind of had to get focused for a little bit there. Didn't get a lot of footage. This deadbolt was a lot of issues getting the assembly to work and not having the correct bracket in there. So if you've ever been in one of those problem-solving modes, you don't have time to really film, and it was a lot of talking, discussing, trial and error. Anyways, we tried the old deadbolt assembly with the new hardware, or the old deadbolt plunger with the new hardware. We tried just the old altogether. We tried so many different things, and ultimately what we ended up doing was taking the new, using the plate that would be on the outside. We used these machine screws here, and we used nuts that held them to the back side, screwed this plate together on the inside here, and then fished the plunger through the hole over here. And it's not going to come out, which, by the way, one of the problems with this door before, and this build has had damage. It's been somebody broke in years ago, is what I was told. So anyways, one of the problems we had is this would fall out, and it'd fall around this area, out of line over here, and you'd have to like push it back in. So as you see right now, that's not falling because it's sitting on this plate that's actually mounted. It's just mounted inverted, so to speak. So it's going to stay there. It works great. The lock works great. The knob works great. This is old damage that was there prior. That's probably where somebody broke in at. Everything works better than it ever did before. We ultimately, me and a few others, decided to keep this door gray, keep it the primer, because we just liked the way it looked. I was gonna paint it the same as the trim. Painted the trim here. Didn't do that. Our closer works great. Had to cut around this because that does sit low. You see it actually scrapes just a tiny bit. It's a small thing. It's a small price to pay. I'm gonna deal with that, whatever. The weather stripping, there was none on this door before. In the wintertime, you could stand here and just feel the cold draft coming through. And with the block on here, with those, I actually did have to cut these so that it will work with it. As little as they are, it wasn't closing. Deadbolt works great. Door lock works great. Putting a new assembly in an old door, and with this being metal, there's less forgive than there is with wood you can generally work with. There was a slight spot there that you could see inside the door, so I did put a little tiny bit of caulk on. You see it's not much, so it wasn't like it was a huge hole. So yeah, 2 days of work, but this door is a lot better than it was before. All in all, happy with it. Well, what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.